Hello, this is Rudy Puente, CG51 instructor and counselor at Cabrillo College. For this short video, I will share with you how to navigate the schedule of classes at Cabrillo College. We're going to start off by going to cabrillo.edu. We're going to put our mouse on class schedules. We're going to click on all class schedules, and we're going to scroll down to the summer fall 2020. Once in the schedule, I'm going to scroll down to page 44 to show you an example for accounting. Today, I'm going to use Accounting 1A, Financial Accounting. The schedule of classes provides you a short description of the course. It also tells you that the course transfers to the California State University and the University of California, however, with limit. Accounting 1A for 4 units, Accounting 1B, which is also 4 units, and Accounting 51A, which is also 4 units for a total of 12, will transfer to the University of California. However, instead of giving you 12, they're only going to grant you credit for 8 units. That is the case with the UC. That is not the case with CSU. CSU will grant you all 12 units. The other thing I want to point out is that there is a recommended preparation for this course. And what it's telling you is you are being recommended to complete Accounting 151A before you go into Accounting 1A. However, it is not a requirement, it is simply a recommendation. If we go into Accounting 1B, Manage Your Accounting, once again, there's a course description. It tells you where it transfers. But in this case, it does tell you that the prereq to Accounting 1B is Accounting 1A. And so you have to successfully complete Accounting 1A before you can enroll in Accounting 1B. Another example I want to share with you is Anthropology 1, Introduction to Anthropology, Biological. Same thing, shows your course description. It tells you that it transfers to the Cal State and the UC system. Section 1 tells you that the days are arranged, the times are arranged. It tells you the units, the instructor, and it shares with you that the course is online. Therefore, there is no meeting days or times. However, if we were looking at Section 4, it would tell you that it meets on a Monday, Wednesday from 9:30 a.m. to 10:50 a.m. and it would share with you that it meets in room 429. As we scroll a little bit further down, Section 11 tells us that it meets on a Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 9:05 p.m. and this particular class meets in Watsonville. That's why it says WAT. The other thing I want to point out is this particular class is in bold, indicating that the class is an evening course. I now want to move on to an example with chemistry. Chem 1A, General Chemistry, you see the course description, tells you the schedule of classes, when they meet, the instructors, and all that kind of good stuff. I want to bring your attention to the prereq. The prerequisite is, as you know, a course that's required to complete prior to getting into this particular course, like Chem 1A. So the prereq to Chem 1A is Chem 2 or Chemistry 3 and Chemistry 3 Lab. When you take Chem 3, you need to make sure you also take and complete Chem 3 Lab. Otherwise, you will not be allowed to register into Chem 1A. Students consistently just take Chem 3 and they ignore the lab, only to find at the end that they're being blocked from getting into Chem 1A. And what happens with those students? They have to go back and complete the Chem 3 lab, successfully complete it, and then go back into Chem 1A. That basically delays you taking your courses in a timely fashion. I want to briefly touch on English 1A, college composition. Most of you at some point will be taking English 1A. This course has a course description, but it also has something called a hybrid requisite. And what it says here that I'm highlighting in blue says completion of or concurrent enrollment in Library 10. What does that mean? That means that every student who enrolls in English 1A at Cabrillo has to at the same time enroll in a Library 10. You will have one instructor for English 1A and you will have a different instructor for Library 10. English 1A is always 3 units. Library 10 is always 1. They have to be taken together. Library 10 will always be offered online, even if your English 1A is offered in person. The last prereq I want to talk about in this short video is Physics 4A. I'm sorry, the prereq for Physics 4A. The prerequisite, meaning the required course or courses for Physics 4A, is shaded in blue. The prereq is Math 5B, which is Calculus 2 with an A grade and no previous physics experience, or that you take 5A, which is Calculus 1 at Cabrillo, and that you successfully complete Physics 11 at Cabrillo, or that you bring us a high school transcript that shows that you completed high school physics with a B or better. In this particular case, you need a really high grade, like a perfect A in 5B, which is a high level math, or you need to complete 2 prereqs, in this case, math and physics. Once again, if it has a prereq and you haven't completed that prereq, you will be blocked from getting into this course. In closure, I want to remind you all that courses at Cabrillo that are numbered 1 through 199 are always used in all non-transfer Associate of Arts, AA, and Associate of Science at Cabrillo. Courses numbered 1 through 99 are always transferable to the California State University system, for short, CSU. Courses that are numbered 1 through 49 are typically transferable to the University of California, for short, UC. However, for the UC, you always want to check the schedule of classes or check with the Cabrillo counselor to confirm that the course is UC transferable. Thank you for listening, and I hope this was helpful.